Hello everyone, my dear students. Welcome to our Python lab, Python classes. Last day we started to discuss if statement. There are three types of if: one case, two cases, multiple case. We have discussed yesterday just an if with one case, the simplest form, and today is more advanced types of if with two cases or multiple cases if. Let's start with two cases if. You see here the format. So there is Boolean expression. It's evaluated to true or false. If it's true, the first block is executed. Second is bypassed. If this expression is false, then the other way around. The first block of statements is bypassed. However, the second is executed. Anyway, in both scenarios, after you execute either block, you go to, of course, statement after. Statement after doesn't belong to if-else structure. Again, pay attention. Very often beginners miss this character column and this character after else keyword. The interesting thing about if-else is it's never empty. If statement with one case may do nothing, if-else structure always does something. This branch or else branch is going to be done, but never together. Pay attention. Those two blocks cannot be at any time executed together. Okay, as usual, example. So I have a income variable, it's float. I compare my income if my income is between certain brackets. And if it is, I supposed to pay 20% approximately. Otherwise, I just print message, your taxes are not 20%. So you have two cases if, or two scenarios. Sometimes we call case scenario. And let's run it. What do you expect? Of course, you expect this to be executed because 50,000 does belong to this range. So let's prove it. And yes, here we are. You see two print statements are done, but this one is not. In case my income is different, let's change it. You're going to see another message. So, wonderful. We covered two cases or two scenarios if, but if you have many possibilities, life is complex. Very often you don't have just two choices, let's say plan A and plan B. You have many. And in this situation, multiple case or multiple cases if is good. So now you see another keyword, elif. So, and now you see many, not just one Boolean expression, you see many Boolean expressions. So what happens? Let's go step by step. The format of the multiple cases if. So you sometimes, by the way, and I like this name, we call this structure, this long statement, a ladder. By the way, statement after, of course, doesn't belong to the ladder. So ladder means you checking expressions step by step. So you basically walking down as if you are on the top of the ladder and step by step you're walking down. So you check this. If it's true, you execute the first block, and after it's done, you jump. So if this is done, you jump to the statement after. Nothing to do. But if it's not true, then you go down. Then you check another Boolean expression. And again, if it's true, you do this block and you jump to the statement after. If it's not true, you continue walking down case by case, or scenario by scenario, or plan by plan. Finally, if nothing is true, all the expressions are false, then else block going to work. So else block is working only if nothing above worked. Let's open the demo. So I'm converting grades to letters, to alpha. Sometimes we call mark with the letter alpha. So, and now you see it's quite convenient because you may have different letters for the marks. So if my mark is higher than 80, my alpha is A, and I'm done. I jump to line 15. If my mark or grade is not higher than 80, I go down, I check. And if it's true again, I print this and I jump to 15. So step by step, I'm checking I'm comparing my grade with different numbers. And finally, if I found it's not even higher than 50, then my alpha is F, failed. God forbid, of course. So let's see how it's working. Let's say I got 85%. You see it's A. Now let's say I got only 33%. You see it's F. So the interesting thing about if with multiple cases, again, it is never empty. And never empty, one block is executed and only one. Only one block from those is going to work. However, sometimes you may remove else block. So it's up to you. Else block in multiple case if is optional. And if you do so, then look, that's another example of similar program. So what happens now if I don't have else? If you don't have else, then yes, the whole if-else ladder may be empty. Let's prove it. So in case your mark is low, in case your mark is let's say 30 or 20 or 10% only, then no conversion to alpha going to be done. So the whole structure going to do nothing, because none of the cases is true, and I do not have else case. So my alpha going to be as it is at the beginning of the program, which is nothing or empty string. Let's prove it. Let's say my grade is low, and you see the alpha is nothing, empty string. Why? Because I have no else case. So in the ladder, in the multiple case ladder, let me go back to my Microsoft Word. Let me go back to the format of the multiple case if. So if this is not provided, if this part of the if else not provided, then in some situations you have an empty statement. Sometimes we call this falling through. I'm going through the ladder step by step, but I never find my case. Sometimes we call it I fall through. My statement just didn't do anything. Thank you very much. Please support the channel with your likes, views, comments. And next lesson is very important. We are going to cover loops, how to repeat in Python the same statements over and over again. All the best to you. See you soon, guys.